Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome. It's Nurse Richard, the Wax Wizard. Thank you for joining me. Furry fungus. Ew. Now, there wasn't any in this first ear. Not a lot to do in this first ear, but you can already tell it's extremely dry, flaky, irritated, and all there was to remove from this one was just a little flake of dead skin, which we removed there with the crocodile forceps. The canal's not looking too bad. Textbook eardrum down there. But it was the second ear that was giving the patient, this young lady, quite a lot of trouble. Now, it was a very difficult ear to get inside this, extremely tight-fitting entrance. And you can see that there's a very deep plug in here with mostly skin, but it's covered, and absolutely covered, by a really thick layer of fungal growth, which is these hyphae that often look like cotton wool fibres. It isn't cotton wool. She'd never poked anything in her ear. So how it's ended up like this, I'm not entirely sure, because it's quite normal to have some fungus in your ears. In fact, all over your skin. That might make some of your skin crawl at the thought of that, but it's perfectly healthy and normal to have it. It's part of the skin flora, as they call it. But normally you have a balance between bacteria, the microorganisms, and fungus. But sometimes you create the right environment for one or the other. Then one of them can take over and kind of colonize. And that's certainly what's happened down here. This fungal growth has taken hold of this plug deep down in this ear. And it was really difficult to remove. You might find it quite frustrating. It does get there in the end, I promise. But because it was such a tight, small ear to get in, I've had to start with the fine end tube, which after a bit of mauling and faffing about, I realised that on its own wasn't going to do it. Because it's just not got the right amount of oomph to lift this up from the corner. And the only reason why I'm predominantly always going to go for that corner there when something's this deep is because that's where those recesses are, and I know that's why it's not coming out, because it's trapped under there. But yeah, it was a right ball ache, no other word for it, a right ball ache to get out. So it is normal to have this fungus in your ear. And it can be triggered by a few things why this happens. Sometimes you can get water in your ear, and water likes warm, moist, humid environments. That can cause it. Sometimes if you have a reduction in the bacteria in your ear, then the balance is all skew with. It's out of kilter, and the fungus will take over where the bacteria was. All kinds of reasons. Now I've stepped up a tube size here, because obviously the other one wasn't cutting the mustard. Where does that saying come from? It's an odd saying. Never just occurred to me now. Why do we say that? Mustard comes in seeds, so you have to crack those seeds, don't you, to get the mustard out? I don't know. Leave me a comment down below if you know why we get that saying from. So I've gone up to I want to say it's a size 16 tube. I think the first one was the 17, this is the 16. And still, it doesn't quite have enough oomph to get this out. What we did have to do in the end is to get some drops in there. And I think I put some sodium bicarbonate drops in there. I'm not a fan of using olive oil, ideally, when an ear is full of fungus, because it can kind of give that fungus a bit of a three-course meal. You start to feed on it and get even worse. So I'm just going to put sodium bicarbonate in there, which is water-based, which obviously won't help as well, but it's kind of a means to an end. We need to get this thing out. So yeah, it's a very complex thing, fungus, and we do need it. It serves a vital role in the circle of life. It likes to munch on everything that's dead. So it is a very important thing, fungus. It's even got its own kingdom. You have several kingdoms, like plants, animals. I think there's bacteria one. Fungus is certainly one. Now you can see it's starting to move, can't you? But yeah, very difficult to get a grip. But when something's this dry, this is why I use the drops. When something is this dry, it's hard to get a full suction seal to get that up. I wouldn't entertain getting any tools deep down there. Absolutely not. It would be way too dangerous. It would be a last resort anyway. What else can I tell you about what's going on today? Had half a day off work yesterday. Reason being is I took the dogs to the groomers. Very hairy, my dogs. I have 2 cockapoos, Penny and Ralph. I really should have researched the breed before getting them because they're absolute lunatics, the pair of them. And I thought, let's get one that doesn't molt, that doesn't shed hair, because I can't stand dog hair everywhere, even in ears. So because they're a crossbreed, essentially a mongrel, I don't think they don't molt. But the downside of that is you have to get them groomed every 8 weeks, mine. Otherwise they just turn into this big ball of cotton fluff, and they can't see what they're doing. If I remember rightly, I'll put a picture above me, and you can have a look at them. I did actually make a video about them once because a couple of years ago they had two litters of puppies, and I did make a video on it. So I will again put a link to that video up there. Cuteness overload, by the way. Really cute. Hard work. I wouldn't do it again. So yeah, I'll put the link above me, and I'll also, this is if you're watching on YouTube. It doesn't work on any other platform, and then I'll put it on one of the cards, which you'll see at the end of the video. So wait till the end, and then you can do that. I'm also aware I haven't done Dad Joke of the Day for a good few videos now, and I've had a lot of people commenting saying, where are they? And if you've never seen any of these videos before, you're thinking, what's he talking about? One of the videos that about a year ago, I told a couple of ridiculous dad jokes, and someone said, oh, you need to do that more. It is where I've put the oil in. So I'll take a few here. I've not done these from a book. I found these somewhere else. 2 muffins in an oven. One says, blimey, it's hot in here. The other one says, holy, a talking muffin. Plastic surgery used to be a taboo subject, but now talk about Botox, nobody raises an eyebrow. Why doesn't Elton John like spinach? Because he's a rocket man. Awful. If you have a green ball in one hand and a green ball in the other hand, what do you have? Kermit screaming for mercy. You see, this is coming out now, can't you? I've got 2 more though, so bear with it. They are good ones. What's green and then goes bzzz and then turns red? A frog in a blender. I'm just zooming in on the fungus on that plug, which you can see. I used to date a twin, and people asked me, how can you tell them apart? I said, it's easy. One of them has got a... Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel, or even become a member if you want to watch more of these. I hope you enjoyed it, but for now, take care of yourself. I'll see you later. Ta-da.